Love can be deceptive, a beautifully wrapped gift concealing nothing but empty promises. My marriage with Olivia once felt like a masterpiece, every moment painted with warmth, laughter, and passion. When I looked at her, I saw everything I ever wanted. She was breathtaking, with auburn hair that gleamed under sunlight, emerald eyes full of mystery, and a smile capable of melting the coldest heart. But love, as I would soon learn, is not always what it seems. From the beginning, Olivia and I shared something most couples envied. Late-night conversations that stretched into dawn, vacations where time felt irrelevant, stolen kisses in grocery store aisles. Each moment felt genuine. Or so I believed. Our connection had been intoxicating, a whirlwind of romance and adventure. Even after years together, I still found myself captivated by her. I worked hard to ensure she had everything she ever desired, yet something had changed. The warmth in her gaze had dulled, her laughter had become more forced, and her touch no longer lingered the way it used to. At first, I convinced myself I was imagining things. She was busy with work, stressed about life, maybe just exhausted. But the nagging feeling in my gut refused to be ignored. Then, the small cracks became impossible to overlook. The first sign came when Olivia started coming home late, too often, too conveniently. "Work ran over," she would say, brushing past me with a kiss that felt rehearsed. The scent of unfamiliar cologne clung to her, but when I asked, she laughed. "I work around men all day, don't be ridiculous." I let it slide. I trusted her. I wanted to trust her. Then came the nights she barely touched her phone when I was around, yet the moment she thought I wasn't looking, her fingers moved across the screen with urgency. She would smile at messages, her eyes gleaming with a secret she never shared. I played the role of the oblivious husband, but inside, my mind raced. Something wasn't right. Then, one evening, she dropped the bombshell. "I need a weekend away," Olivia said over dinner, her voice light, too casual. She didn't meet my gaze as she speared a piece of pasta with her fork. I set my glass down. "A weekend?" "Yeah," she continued, forcing a smile. "A girl's trip. Just me and a few friends, you know, to relax, clear my head." The lie rolled off her tongue so smoothly it almost fooled me. Almost. I studied her, noticing the way her fingers tightened around her fork. "Where exactly?" She shrugged. "A cabin by the lake. Just a cozy getaway." A year ago, I would have believed her without hesitation. But now? Now I saw through the cracks in her perfect act. Instead of confronting her, I forced a smile. "Sounds like a great idea. You deserve a break." Relief washed over her face. She had expected resistance, maybe even an argument. Instead, I gave her exactly what she wanted, or at least what she thought she wanted. That night, while she showered, I did something I never imagined doing. I checked her phone. My hands trembled as I scrolled through hidden messages, secret exchanges buried under fake contact names. Then I saw it. Ethan Wallace. The name meant nothing to me, but the words exchanged between them meant everything. Counting down the days. "I can't wait to have you all to myself. He suspects nothing. It'll be perfect." A sharp pain stabbed through my chest. Olivia, my wife, the woman I adored, had been planning this for weeks, maybe months. The cozy weekend wasn't just a getaway, it was an affair. Rage burned in my veins, but I didn't explode. I didn't scream. Instead, my mind settled into something darker. She wanted a weekend away? Fine. I'd make sure it became her worst nightmare. Betrayal carves itself into the soul, leaving behind wounds no apology can heal. The moment I saw those messages, something inside me snapped. Love had turned to ash, trust had crumbled, and all that remained was cold, calculated intent. Olivia wanted a weekend of passion, a secret escape with her lover? Fine. I would give her something far more unforgettable. I spent the next 2 days laying the groundwork. Anger alone wasn't enough, I needed precision. Confronting her would accomplish nothing. She'd lie, twist the truth, and make me question my own sanity. Instead, I let her think she had won. The morning before her trip, Olivia was all smiles, humming to herself as she packed. She folded delicate lace lingerie into her suitcase, biting her lip as if imagining Ethan's reaction. My stomach churned, but I kept my face neutral. She caught me watching. "What?" she asked playfully, tilting her head. I shrugged. "Just admiring you." A flicker of hesitation crossed her face before she grinned, stepping closer. "I love you, you know." Lies. But I kissed her anyway, long and slow, forcing her to remember the husband she was so eager to betray. "Have fun," I whispered against her lips. She shivered, mistaking my words for affection instead of the warning they truly were. The second she left, I went to work. The setup. Olivia had booked a remote cabin near Silverwood Lake, a secluded spot with breathtaking views. The resort prided itself on privacy, making it the perfect hideaway for illicit affairs. But what she didn't know was that I had already called the lodge, posing as Ethan Wallace, and made a few adjustments to their reservation. They still had a weekend booked, but I now had access to everything. I secured a cabin right next to theirs, ensuring I would be within earshot of every deceitful whisper. Through a few well-placed calls, I arranged for their power to be accidentally cut at the worst possible time. I also enlisted the help of an old college friend, a tech genius, who helped me tap into the lodge's security system. Hidden cameras in common areas would capture every moment of their little getaway. Once everything was in place, I packed a bag, rented a car, and followed my wife. She had no idea I was right behind her. Arrival. By the time I reached the lodge, the sun had begun its slow descent, casting golden hues across the rippling water. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of pine and damp earth. It would have been the perfect romantic setting, if it weren't built on lies. I checked in, keeping a low profile, and settled into my cabin just as Olivia and Ethan arrived. I watched from my window as they stepped out of the car, laughing, touching, their hands roaming each other like two lovers starved for contact. Disgust curled in my stomach, but I remained still, watching. Ethan was taller than me, lean, with sharp features and an air of arrogance. He looked at Olivia the way I used to, like she was the most desirable woman in the world. She melted against him, her body pressing close, her fingers tangled in his hair. A deep breath kept my rage in check. Not yet. They disappeared inside their cabin, oblivious to the storm I was about to unleash. Phase 1, Discomfort. The first step in my plan was simple: strip away the illusion of paradise. An hour after their arrival, I triggered the first disruption. The heater shut down. Inside their cozy love nest, the temperature dropped fast. I imagined Olivia shivering, rubbing her arms, her comfort slipping away. Then, I disabled the water supply. No hot showers, no running taps, just frustration. Within minutes, I heard Olivia's voice, muffled by the walls. "The heater's not working." Ethan cursed under his breath. "I'll check the thermostat." A few minutes passed, then a loud thud. "What the hell?" Ethan muttered. I smirked. That was the sound of their luggage mysteriously tumbling over. I hadn't just come to watch, I had come to haunt them. Phase 2, Fear. At exactly midnight, I activated the lodge's emergency intercom system, using a voice distorter to send a chilling message directly into their cabin. "You shouldn't be here." Silence. Then Olivia's voice, hesitant. "Did you hear that?" Ethan chuckled nervously. "Just the wind." I waited 5 minutes before sending another message. "Leave. Before it's too late." A loud crash followed, probably Olivia knocking over something in panic. "Who's saying that?" she whispered. Ethan tried to brush it off, but the unease in his voice betrayed him. "It's a prank, Liv. Calm down." But she wasn't calm. And I wasn't finished. Phase 3, The Truth. At 2 a.m., when their nerves were at their peak, I sent Olivia a final message. This time, to her phone. "Does your husband know?" She gasped audibly. "Oh my God." Ethan sat up beside her. "What?" Trembling fingers typed a response. "Who is this?" I didn't reply. Instead, I sent her an email. She opened it, and I knew the exact moment the realization struck. Every secret message she had sent to Ethan, every plan they had made, every moment of their deceit, all neatly compiled, staring back at her. Ethan peered over her shoulder, reading the words that sealed their fate. "You lied to me," he said, voice dripping with betrayal. "You said he didn't know." Olivia's hands shook. I don't understand." A minute later, her phone rang. She answered. I whispered only 2 words. "Checkmate, Olivia." Then I hung up. Outside, the wind howled, but it wasn't the storm that had shaken Olivia to her core. It was the knowledge that her carefully built fantasy had just crumbled around her. And I wasn't done yet. "You said. Fear is a funny thing. It strips away illusions, exposes vulnerabilities, and forces people to reveal who they truly are." Olivia had built a fantasy, one where she could escape with her lover, indulge in passion without consequences. But now, that fantasy was unraveling thread by thread, and I was there to watch it burn. Inside the cabin, Olivia and Ethan sat in suffocating silence. The air between them crackled with tension. I could see her face in the dim glow of her phone screen, her complexion pale, lips trembling. She clutched her device like it was a lifeline, scrolling through the damning messages I had sent. Ethan's expression darkened. "What the hell is this, Olivia?" She blinked rapidly, her mind racing. "I don't know. I think someone hacked my phone." I smirked from my vantage point outside, listening through a hidden microphone I had planted earlier. Classic Olivia. When caught, she didn't admit guilt, she deflected. Ethan wasn't buying it. "Your husband knows, doesn't he?" Does he? "No." His voice was sharp now, edged with something I recognized. Panic. She hesitated for a fraction of a second, but it was enough. Ethan shot to his feet, running a hand through his hair. "Damn it, Olivia! You told me he was clueless. You swore there was no risk." She grabbed his arm. "We don't know for sure." Her phone rang again. She flinched as my name appeared on the screen. A deep breath later, she answered. "Hello?" I chuckled softly, ensuring every syllable dripped with venom. "Enjoying your weekend, sweetheart?" Her breath hitched. "Please, just tell me what you want." Ethan's eyes widened as he heard my voice. He scrambled to put on his shirt, realization sinking in. "Want?" I echoed. "Oh, Olivia, this isn't about what I want. This is about what you deserve." A strained silence followed. Then, in a whisper, she asked, "Are you here?" I let that question linger. Fear fed off uncertainty, and I wanted her drowning in it. "You'll find out soon enough," I murmured before hanging up. Phase 4, Isolation. I had already disabled their car earlier that night, draining the battery and ensuring it wouldn't start. Now I sent one final blow, cutting the cell signal jammer I had set up, leaving them completely disconnected from the outside world. Ethan cursed when his phone lost service. "Are you kidding me?" Olivia pressed her hands to her temples. Okay. We just need to think." Ethan's expression twisted with frustration. "Think? Olivia, we're screwed. Your husband is here, he's playing with us, and we have no way to leave." She swallowed hard. "We can fix this. We just need to." A loud bang echoed outside. She screamed, clutching Ethan's arm. I had thrown a large branch against their cabin wall, just enough to jolt them into pure terror. Ethan's voice dropped. "He's outside." I could almost hear his heartbeat racing. Olivia was shaking. "Please. I never wanted this." Lies. She had wanted everything, except the consequences. I let them stew in their paranoia for a while, allowing the weight of the situation to fully sink in. Then I made my next move. I stepped onto their porch, slow and deliberate, the wooden boards creaking beneath my weight. Olivia gasped. Ethan grabbed a fireplace poker, his hands shaking. 3 soft knocks on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Ethan exhaled sharply, gripping his makeshift weapon. "Don't open it." But Olivia was already breaking apart. Her guilt, her fear, her fragile illusion, everything was caving in. Her shaky voice barely carried. I have to. She reached for the doorknob. And I smiled. It was time for the grand reveal. You said. The moment Olivia's trembling fingers touched the doorknob, I held my breath. This was it, the climax of my carefully orchestrated nightmare. I had given her every chance to confess, every opportunity to own her betrayal. But she had chosen deception. Now she would reap the consequences. The door creaked open an inch. I saw her first, disheveled, pale, eyes wide with terror. Gone was the confident, seductive woman who had planned a weekend of passion. In her place stood a broken, guilt-ridden wreck. Ethan hovered behind her, still gripping the fireplace poker, his muscles taut with tension. I took a slow step forward, letting the porch light illuminate my face. Her breath hitched. Oh my God! I smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Surprised, sweetheart? She clutched her chest like she could physically hold herself together. How did you? I tilted my head. Find out? Catch you? Ruin your little getaway? I chuckled, low and humorless. Come on, Olivia. You were never as clever as you thought. Ethan stepped in front of her, jaw clenched. Listen, man. I held up a hand. Save it. My voice was steel. I'm not here to fight. You already lost. His Adam's apple bobbed as he swallowed. What do you want? I pulled my phone from my pocket and, with a few taps, turned the screen toward them. A live video feed played, one capturing every intimate moment they had shared inside that cabin, from their passionate kisses to Olivia's whispered confessions. Her face drained of color. You recorded us? My eyes never left hers. I documented the truth. She stumbled backward, shaking her head. This isn't happening. Oh, it is. I took another step forward, my presence pressing against them like an unstoppable force. And guess what? I've already sent copies of this to a few important people. Your friends. Your family. And of course, your employer. Her lips parted in horror. No, please. I cut her off. Did you really think I'd just let you betray me and walk away unscathed? Tears welled in her eyes. I made a mistake. I laughed, shaking my head. A mistake? Olivia, tripping over a curb is a mistake. You planned this. You chose this. My gaze flicked to Ethan. And you? You knew she was married. He had the audacity to look ashamed. I didn't think. I scoffed. No, you didn't. But you should have. The weight of their consequences pressed down on them. Olivia's hands trembled as she reached out. Please, I still love you. I stepped back, disgust curling my lip. No, you don't. You love the comfort I gave you. The security. The stability. My voice lowered to a whisper. But you never loved me. She broke then, sobbing, collapsing onto her knees. Please, don't destroy my life. I crouched to her level, forcing her to meet my eyes. You already destroyed it. Then, I stood, slipping a manila envelope from my coat and tossing it onto the wooden porch between us. Her teary eyes flickered to it. What is that? I smirked. Divorce papers. Signed. A strangled sob escaped her lips. No. I cut her off with a simple shake of my head. It's done, Olivia. Then, I turned on my heel, walking back into the night, leaving her and her lover behind in the wreckage of the life she had destroyed. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free.